So what we're doing in the shop today is I plan on casting a Car Club plaque. And this process that I'm going to go through and show you how to do can be transferred over to about any part that you want to. You know, some parts are easier to cast than others. But today we're going to show you how to cast a Car Club plaque. So what I have here is just an old beer keg. You can pick these up anywhere from 40 to 60 bucks for the stainless steel keg. I cut it in half, and I think I took, if I remember right, it's been a while since I did this one. I think I took 8 inches out of this. I think it's 8 or 6 inches out of this keg in height wise. Because your inside chamber, the smaller the chamber is that's inside your furnace, the quicker your metal will heat up. Your bigger your chamber, the longer it takes to heat your crucible up. So everything is just, made here in the shop. So if you look down here on my my tube for the torch, all that is plumbing pipe. There's I think it's 1 inch plumbing pipe, probably 12 inches long, with a T. Then on the end I put a valve, but I also drilled and made my own fuel nozzle. And once again, you can do this at the house. All I did is a brass union that and I threaded it on the inside, and I took a .30 welding tip for your MIG welder, and that is on the tip. So that shoots out the propane. These side T's draw air in and put your torch and heats it up. So really simple. Then I took this, which I learned this from Crafty B. If you haven't looked up Crafty B, he's got a YouTube channel. Makes some fantastic items. His gas caps are killer. Pretty much anything he's doing is top of the line cool stuff. So all I did is I took a 10-inch concrete round form. I put it in the center, and I filled it full of concrete around. Just your normal high temp, high strength, well, it's not high temp, it's high strength concrete mix. I mixed it up, poured it around the form. And that is the walls of my concrete, or to my furnace. I will tell you that if you look online, people are going to tell you that you need to have refractory cement. There's stuff out there that is made for high temp. But here in the shop, I do everything on a budget, and I try to, make things for my hot rod, and I'm trying to do them where I'm making cool items, but cost effective for me to do. I couldn't see spending $600 or $700 on making this setup. I probably have $150 into making this. So if you want to go down that route of doing the refractory cement, man, go for it. It'll probably work out, I don't know if it'll work out better, because this works out great. Long term, it'll hold up a lot better, because concrete, everybody knows concrete doesn't like heat. So you can take a torch to a piece of concrete on your the floor of your shop, and concrete will pop. So concrete has popped. I have lost a little bit of my side wall, but if you look back on Crafty B's wet or YouTube page, he'll show you this is how he does it. And the man is well known in the car industry on making parts. Uh, he has a propane tank, a little small propane tank that he cut and made into a furnace. He said he's used it over 10 years, like this one's set up. Uh, and if that man can make the quality of parts out of a cheap setup like I have, uh, man, it's just letting you know that you don't need that top of line stuff. Yeah, it's nice, but if you're like me and you're building a hot rod on a shoestring budget, to me, it's not worth it. Especially if you're getting into this, man. If you're just wanting to get into it, you don't know much about it, and you're trying to get everything situated where you can do it for the first time, man. Make a setup like mine. There's nothing spectacular to it, man. This is all this is my handle to spin my lid. That's using a Model A throttle linkage. That was on a Model A. Piece of tubing with a rod in the center as my hinge. And all I did is cut it at a 45-degree angle. That way when I do it, it picks it up just a hair. Haven't had any problems out of it. So what I'll show you now is, this is my casting crucible, which I have it full of brass right now because I was doing some brass casting, which hopefully soon I'll show you a video on brass casting. It works totally different than this aluminum. Today we're going to do aluminum. So even the crucible, I probably paid $35 off Amazon. Have it in 2 days, you're good. Everything else you can get local. The only thing that you're having to probably order is your casting crucible. So, and with this is made out of graphite. It's not hard. I did exactly what Crafty B did. He made his own handles and to be able to handle this one, it's because this thing will be glowing red when it's completely heated up. I drilled 2 holes on either side. That way, I made a thing. I'll grab it, a handle where I can put it in, pick it up, and it'll actually pivot to pour. So let me grab the handles. I'll show you those, and they're, once again, simple. And that's how you don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be that way to make things and make things cool. So let me grab those and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right. I got a couple things in my hand. Let's see what we're going to start with. So all this is some round rod or all thread, which I used all thread just because it was laying in the corner and I had it. I will probably remake this into some like 1/4 inch all thread. And all it is a horseshoe with 290 degrees. I did it at this angle so I can, if I don't trip, I can reach down in. That way, because even with cutting the gas off when you get ready to pour, this thing is burning hot. And I'd love, while you're doing it, when you pick it up, that's the highest point this thing needs to be. Keep it down low until you get somewhere where you're ready to pour. So make sure, let me see if I get back here. So make sure that when you get ready to pour this, you pull it out of here You're going to pick this up, get it down, get it low to the ground, because you do not want something catastrophic to happen where this breaks or you drop it and molten metal flies back onto you. So make sure you have a piece of metal or something to set this on, because this thing will be so hot that it will pop the concrete or anything or burn anything that you set it on. Then you're going to want to have you some kind of spoon, because when you're melting the aluminum or any other metal alloys, it's going to have impurities that float to the surface. So, and all you do is you take your spoon, you're going to take the top layer off, knock it to the side, which you see, this is just the impurities out of some aluminum, which, you know, I just knocked off right there. So you've done that, you'll set it out of the way, and I made this up. This is all this is a stabilizer to help me when I'm pouring it. So most of the time I will have this set up, laying down, which you can't see me. Let me see. So I'll have this laying down. It'll be on the ground, and I will set the crucible right inside the circle. Then take your spoon, take your slag off the top of it, and when you pick up, you have it, and it's really stable. I'll usually hold it out away from me, pour, bam, and back into the furnace it goes. So that is pretty much it. Let's let me see if I've missed anything. Oh, also, get you some muffin pans from the store. Doesn't have to be expensive ones, just some cheap ones. I think these are from like the dollar store or something. And what these will do is whatever casting metal you have in the crucible, once you've poured your item and you're not going to make any more, you pour them into this. And it makes just smaller ingots of aluminum. So I have a couple. Let me show you. So I have one that my wife gave me because she never used it. I guess it's a Halloween one. So it's got skulls on it. It can be anything. And all it does is turn your aluminum into little small ingots. This one happens to be decorative. You don't need it. So with that being said, let's I'll get this furnace hooked up to the propane tank. We'll move it over out of the way, and you will probably hear it over my microphone, it roaring. You know, it's pretty loud, not horrible. You can do it in a shop. You can do it in a shop as long as you use green sand. If you're going to go with Petrobond, which is oil base, it's got oil impregnated in the sand. You want to do it outside. It smokes a lot. It puts a lot of fumes off. But since I mix up my own sand and it doesn't really smoke, you can do it in the shop with the doors closed. Make sure you know you're dealing with fire and molten metal. And I mean, this stuff is hot. If you're going to do it, make sure that you're safe about it. Make sure you know where your fire extinguishers are. You're able to get to them pretty quick. You never know. Things can happen. You don't want to burn your shop down for you trying to make one simple Car Club Plaque. So that's enough rambling. Let me get this hooked up and we'll get started. And what I always do is I fire this off first before I start packing my sand. All right, guys, let me show you how I I light off my furnace. Let me get the camera moved around where you can see. All right. So I have the furnace here, and I have my crucible. That's some extra slag that's from the brass. And what I'll do is I'll just take some paper or a paper towel, catch it on fire, throw it down in there. So then you slowly bring the gas on. So let me see if I can show you. So I'll let it burn all that paper off before I close the lid. That way none of that gets into the aluminum. So while you're doing this, grab your aluminum that you're going to use. It makes it a lot easier if your aluminum is in manageable sizes. So that's where the muffin pan comes into play. They're all perfect size. You can keep tossing in. So I'll close the lid. Should get a little quieter. And I don't have that valve turned up all the way yet, because you want to be able to slowly get your heat built up into your furnace. It just gives it a little bit better chance of surviving, even when you're using the refractory cement. And what I do is I usually take my muffin pan and I slide it underneath the furnace, because you do not want to pour any kind of melting metal into a surface that is cold. It will pop up and splash on you. So always think about that, preheat your muffin pan if you're going to pour ingots into there. You don't want to get that stuff on you. That will definitely cause you a trip to the emergency room. So let's get started. I'm gonna restart everything I just showed you. We'll quickly go over it. So I have this as my backer board. It sits flush against. That way I can put my flask right on top, and I got it cut to where it fits. Then you're going to take whatever part that you're using. I usually off-center it just a little bit, where I have a little bit more room on this side if I'm going to pour on this side, and the vent tube's going to be on this. So you just off-center it just a hair. All right, now that I got that camera set up, you're not going to be able to really see me, but I will talk you through it. But this way, you'll at least be able to see the process. So, like I said, backer board, your part, get any kind of debris that you don't want into your sand out of the way. Set your flask right on top. And remember, we have baby powder in here. We're going to lightly just dust it on. You'll see it go everywhere. All right, got that set up. Next, we are ready for sand. So, and I mix my own sand. And what it is it's part bentonite clay with regular play sand that you can get from your local Home Depot or Lowe's, any home improvement store that has play sand. Works perfect. You will have to take your sand right out of the bag, sift it through a sifter, and all this is just a dollar store sifter. And what that is the play sand has rocks in it, so you want to make sure that you get your rocks out, because any rocks or imperfection is just going to make a void into your sand casting. So get it situated. Let me find my cup. It's somewhere. It might be in another bucket of sand. There it is. And this is the key. The next thing I'm going to show you is the key thing to sand casting. This is one thing you don't want to cheap out on. Whatever the price is, you want to spend it, because it'll make a big difference into your sand casting abilities. And what that is a Paw Patrol cup. That way you can dip your sand and put it in your sifter. But without the paw, this very brand of Paw Patrol, you just can't do it. You know, all the greats use Paw Patrol. So you can try it without a Paw Patrol, but it's just gonna turn out like crap, so sorry. And so what you're gonna do is on the sifter, you're going to just do a fine layer. Way, just do it till your part is completely covered. So, and if you have any clumps, you know, just kind of work your clumps out. That way you can. And your really fine layer is only on this layer of the casting. And what this does is this lets you lock in your fine detail of your part. So all the wording and everything on this Car Club plaque, it'll let it set in right there. Then once we get it covered a good bit, then you can just take regular the sand and just dump it in. But you just want to make sure you got this first layer really covered in. So I usually use this, or I'll show you another one that I use. This will keep it where, and all this is a window screen, old window screen. I'll put it over here, and let me show you all that. So you got your window screen, you dump it on, and you just work it in. That way you work in all the clumps, you get them all out. So, and like I said, you can do this process on pretty much all your parts. You know, anything that you want to remake, do the same, you know, the steps. There's nothing out there that you can't make. So don't be scared to jump out there and try new things. That's exactly what, you know, I'm trying to do this year, is make sure that I learn new skills, and I'm pushing myself to make better stuff. So you see, it's really fine now. So we have it. And right here, we could just pack on sand. But I believe with me is I like to do one more layer of the fine sand to fill it in on the bottom. So I'm gonna put this back on, take another scoop of the Paw Patrol. And just know that I'm not sponsored. Paw Patrol does not sponsor this video, but if they want to, they can. Now you can use any cup. It still might not come out as great as mine though, just because I use Paw Patrol. Just joking. Alright, so like I said, you just work it in, work it all over until it's gone, and you'll know. And I'll probably move the camera back out after this, because this will show you this was the fine stuff that you needed, you know, to know. So let me reposition that camera. So what I'll do, lightly move this around where I can pack in. And what you're going to want to do is you want to kind of make sure that you don't have a lot of clumps. At least the clumps are kind of worked out. So sometimes I'll do it in here, even though I lose a little bit at the bottom. Then you just, dump it in. If you see a big clump on top, just knock it out. But let me show you with the, and it's literally just filling it up. Any of your really hard clumps, just make sure you kind of knock them out. I don't think it matters too much this high up into the sand, but dump that off. And this sand, like I said earlier, is just, you know, it's mixed here. So what you're and I like to where this layer is, you know, you just work those clumps out. They make a piece of machinery, which I have one. I don't have it completely built yet, and it's a concrete mixer. They call it a molar, and all it has is it's got a wheel and a blade inside, which the blade just directs all the sand to go underneath that wheel and get smashed up, which it gets rid of these clumps. So that'll be nice once it's I get it built, once I make time for it. So we got the sand in there, and what we're gonna do is I like to kind of put a hand down. That way you know the part inside is not moving. Then you just slowly pack it in. Don't be afraid to hit it, because all you're doing is you're locking in that really fine layer of sand into your part, which in the long run will make a better part. So make sure you work your corners in. All right, so now you got it there. Fill more sand. So here in just a minute, I'll probably work some of this and get this packed in. Then I'm gonna turn the furnace up. It's sat over there while we've done this and warmed the inside up. So what I'll do is I'll get all this packed down in there, and before I add more sand, I'll turn it up. That way it can start getting serious about melting that said, let me turn this up. You can probably hear that thing roaring. Hopefully my microphone cuts out a lot of it. All right, I'm getting somewhere now. %90 of this is just all in your prep. The better you make your mold, the finer quality of a mold that you make, the better your part has a chance of coming out nice. And like I said, not every part comes out nice. It's just part of it. You know, it might come out where you know it's usable and you're happy with it, and it might have some flaws. Most, you know, certain things I'm not worried about those. The flaws. I don't have a perfect car, but I do strive to put out, you know, make a good part. So just slowly work. Like I said, you got a low spot, fill it in. And what we'll do here is, like I showed you with my framing square, is all I'm going to do is, just like a concrete, just skim the top. You're going to have low spots, which is fine, because you're going to come back and fill those. Alright, now all you're going to do is take that sand, pack it in there. And if you got more low spots, just keep filling. Alright, so what I do is just take my Xer, throw back in there. You're going to skim it one more time. Like this. All control cup. When you got that good and flat, put a little bit there, fill in that hole. So what I like to do is just do one more pass by. Not as heavy. Alright, so that's out of the way. Knock off any excess you have. So here it is. We're ready to flip it. The Car Club Plaque will probably, most likely, just fall out. So what you want to do is just pick straight up. Bam. So Car Club Plaque's there. And what I'll do is now, I'll take this, dump my excess off, put it back down. You're gonna put your Car Club plaque off to the side. So, and if you see that you have any little pieces that are falling down inside, you want to make sure that you get those out. So we have this, you see that white hue of a color all over this. I'll usually just do another light, and you only do this is if you have, like we did, the part came out. Here's the fun part of putting this exactly back where it was supposed to be. Just gotta be gentle with it. All right. So you have that. It's sitting in there. You can see it. All right. So, got that. Take your sock again. Douse some powder over it. Now it's time for your other flask. So, I'm going to set this up on top. Just like that. And what we did before is we filled it full of sand. We're going to do the same exact thing. So, we need more sand. Let's hold off on that. What this sand is actually called is green sand. So, and it just means it's just got water additive to it. The sand and the bentonite clay. That's it. The Petrobond uses oil. it's supposed to be better for beginners because you can just buy it. This you actually have to hand make. I think they sell this too, but I just started out with this, so I haven't even tried the Petrobond, just because I knew during winter times I wouldn't be able to do it inside the shop. So, and I didn't want that. So, just work it in. What we'll probably do now is I'll probably skim it off. Throw that back in the bucket. I like just to use a sawing motion, back and forth. That way it levels it off pretty evenly. Then just throw excess back in your bucket. This one come out pretty nice. I think I got a little bit of high spot right there. Just like shaving. All right, that's the fun part. That's probably your most time-consuming part. So what we'll do now is I'm gonna pick this half up, straight up, set it to the side. Then what I'm gonna have to do is I got to pick up the club plaque very carefully out of there and try not to damage it. Damage the sand cast part of it. If you do that, if you damage it, you start this process over. So it is time consuming. It's not just a knock it out. So I have a little bit of just loose sand built up around the edges, and all I do is you can use low pressure compressed air, but alright, so let me find my screws and stuff. So here's what I use, is I have two holes in this club plaque. And I usually try to get 2 points to pick up on. So here's another thing that you're going to want to do. You want to grab something, you ain't got to be crazy with it. You just want to kind of tap it. That way it kind of works itself loose. All right. So, then you want to come straight up. I see I got a little bit of breakout it's trying to do. All right. So, got it out successfully. There is a little bit of breakout, but nothing that, and it's around the edges where you can clean it up by sanding. So, and what you want to do is blow it out too. So, just slow. So, with that being said, this piece is done. So what I do is I keep a piece of scrap sheet metal around. That way I can set this on top of it. Then when I get ready to pour, it's sitting on there, and if there's any spillage, which you see this, sometimes you have blowouts. You know, that's no different. This one might be a blowout. You never know. So you just want to be prepared, especially if you're on your shop floor. This molten metal will screw up your shop floor quick. So you're gonna pick it up. I'll show you real quick what the indentation looks like. Then you'll move it over, set it out of the way. All right, with that being set out of the way, I want to clean this off again. That way it's flat. Now it's time to lay it down. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our pour hole and our breather hole in there. So you see how I want to do it. I've done it this way before, so I've got to see where I want to lay out. I'm not liking how that's turning out, so I'll try to go from this side. And just slowly. All I do is screw it in. But I kind of put a back pressure here, so you don't do exactly what I just did, me talking. I screwed things up. All right, let's see. Put that out of the way. This is what you don't want, but let's see if we can save it from here. All right. Just lightly tapping it. You definitely don't want this to happen. But sometimes it happens. So let me see. Get some dirt out of this tube. Since we just got a little bit, I think I might be able to save it. You definitely don't want to do that too many times. So, this is what turned into a video of what not to do. But if we can save it, that would be awesome. All right. So we might have saved it. low spot there. If this was a critical piece that you're casting, you would probably want to start it over. But since this is just a colored plaque, and I'm just doing it to show y'all, I believe it'll be fine. Like new. Be alright. So, usually, if this is my fill hole, I usually put another hole just the opposite direction. Alright, I can hear that hit solid. So, I'm going to do a couple twists. And slowly bring it back out. So, what I do is I like to take the edges and just kind of round them. Since that surface has been compromised. So here's the next step, is I take a 1-inch ruler. You can use anything. So, and what I'll do is I'll take it and I'll kind of dig out a section. You want to round that over the way it's got it. So you're going to fill in here from the other side. It'll fill in, it'll flow in this channel. And what I want is I'm going to take that same little piece and do it right here. And it'll fill in here, fill this whole void up. Then I'll do another 1-inch that will fill this. So that's the plan anyways. And what I try to do is kind of put a slope on it where it's gradual. What I'll probably then just come back over Compact that sand, the disturbed sand up. So, and I call this my gate. So it'll flow like a tunnel. It flows in, fills this up, then we'll come from this side. So what I'll do is I'll do another one. And you gotta remember that as big as you do here, the more cleanup you have afterwards. So just know that you remember out here it doesn't matter, it'll be cut off. So alright, I think we're ready to flip over and show you the back side. Alright, so we got a little bit of a breakout here. I'm not going to worry about it as much. So right here we're good. And what I do is I kind of make it a cone shape. So, and if I'm gonna pour, let me see, I'm gonna pour from this side, which, so what I wanna do is I wanna pick out a little bit more on this side. So, like I said before, kind of pack your sand around. Make sure you're all cleaned out. As soon as aluminum is melted, we're ready to cast. So let me get this set down, then I'll get it situated and we can pour some metal. All right, this is that part you want to be really careful with. Set my piece down. I'll get this ready. All right, we're ready, guys. I like to tone the fire back a little bit. You'll see how red this is. So you gotta be real careful. So, like I said, set it down. And what we're gonna do is take the bad aluminum off the top. Hopefully we got a good pour for you guys. So, here we go, guys. Try to get where you can see me. All right, I think we got a good one. We're blowing out the side a little bit on one side. Let me try to move fast enough to save it. Hopefully this didn't hurt us. Hopefully I got enough piece. And what all the smoking is we had a little bit of a blowout. And it's burning my wood. So, no biggie. All right, that's cool. Let me get a... Always make sure you have stuff on standby. You are messing with fire. Hopefully we didn't lose enough. I don't know. I hope it didn't blow out. It sunk pretty good, so. Let it cool just a little bit, and we'll pull it off. Aluminum doesn't take too long for it to just harden back up. So let's see what we got. We got a full casting, guys. Let me grab the camera and show you. Heck yeah. So this is what she looks like. So we just made that. And what we'll do is we'll cut off these ends, clean it up. There is a little bit of porosity that I can see. We might be able to sand all that out, but I don't know if you can see down in there. Man, it's hot. So I'll get you set back up. I'll get a pair of pliers, get that out, and put some of my regular gloves on, just in case. I hate that we had a blowout, but you know, that's part of it. You never know. We knew there was a chance that that could happen. So, bring my bucket of sand back over. And with this green sand, since it's just water-based, so when this dries out, you'll scrape that black off, dump the sand back in there, and you can add, once it starts getting to where it's a little too dry, you add a little bit of water back to it, and it's back good to go. So let's see if we can't break this out of here. Come on now. Dump that down in there. So here's what we got. So let me cool it off and I'll show you. All right, here we go, guys. We just made a copy of it. It's not perfect. You know, there is some porosity and stuff. That's part of it. But we just made it. I just showed you how to do it. Any questions, just message me. You can definitely do this at the house. Don't let this kind of stuff scare you away from trying things. You know, one thing my dad always told me, that in our house we don't use the word can't. There's nothing that you can't do or be. So if some other man can do it or woman can do it, you can do it. Uh, it's just you got to put in the time and effort to learn the skill and do it. It's not going to come out perfect every time. Definitely your first casting is not going to be perfect. I can show you plaques that from the very first one I've done until now, they've gradually got better. So don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do something. You can do anything you want and set your mind to. It's all up on you putting the effort in and learning it. So that being said, guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. I hope to do more how-to videos or just videos in general. Soon as the weather gets right, we're going to break out the hot rod. There should be a lot of cruising videos and just tearing up the town with the hot rod. So thank you guys. Have a good day.